Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
June 22nd, 2024, 3 a.m., I was pulled over by New Jersey state troopers. With eyes that remind me of a future I now don't have, they started to throw their assumptions at my face. Accused me of driving under the influence when I was only drunk off fear. Could they not smell it? Coming from my car, when I rolled down my window, my knees quaked, soul cracked. They ripped me from the solace that held my body in my vehicle. They wanted me to walk this straight line, like I haven't my whole life. And I just wanted to ask them, did they ever pray to get home safe too? Wanted me to keep my shoulders upright, like they couldn't see gravity, pushing my mind into this grave. Saw Sandra Bland in my stance. Breonna Taylor was all in my skin tone one. Wanted me to keep my eyes on a pen. When I could only focus my fate in the darkness around me, place me in the back of this police car, just for me to finally know what it feels like to be placed in this cage, placed in this box you just can't seem to escape from. No matter how loud your inside scream to tear it apart, my tears, they flooded the backseat. But ain't they used to letting Black people drown, so my trauma don't faze them. Fist bumps because the bounty of this Black woman will help pay their bills, so they work hard to hunt us. When we are alone, naked, and afraid, tell me how. You want me to remain calm when you are cuffing my innocence. My name is Elle. I'm the youngest out of four. I'm just somebody's daughter. Your wife gets to be home safe with yours. Why not my own mother? I blew 0.0 twice. Just to still have to stand in front of a judge. Your Honor, I plead not guilty. If anything, being a Black woman was the crime, a sin in this system, conditioned to keep coating the Black bodies with iron, lead, shame, and shackles, the irony. Well, you know they ain't listening to me over the color of my skin, but at least I now know how to describe the feeling of bondage. Pray my future daughter will not be robbed of her liberation. You could call me over dramatic, but my mother could have been robbed of a daughter. Even if they saw me fit to keep breathing, they had to know I was not returning home the same. And maybe if this shirt was blue, not floral like the flowers that decorated the caskets of queens before me, they would view me human. I have a boyfriend who could one day view me as his wife. Would they take away his forever? This guilt of not protecting his baby may kill my father, but their only concerns will be to take his tears, to wash away the smudges so they can clearly see the amount of their quota. But don't you know, you can't put a price on freedom or trauma. And when I hear this word freedom, all it does is trigger my trauma, and I'm left being the living testimony of how everything Black ain't beautiful when the devil is hunting you. This poem is for all the men who assume because my BMI is high that my standards were supposed to be low. Maybe I struggle with my weight the same way some of y'all struggle with your hairlines. There's this thin line that divides a martyr from a man who died because his body couldn't handle the weight of his own ego, where his arrogance will sit front row at his own funeral. Remember, all the times women place your lies on their tongue and they swallow, how you force fed them all the responsibilities you couldn't handle. You, the type of man that only breaks backs when we carry these roles you can't fulfill. So don't come for me if I don't send for you. I already have to be careful how high I hold my chins because I know the regards for my life in this system is low. You put my value into numbers. Call me a statistic. Paint this body with shame, attempting to turn this masterpiece into a torn canvas. I heard most men don't find amusement. I heard most men find amusement in this term big body, but I hope you find amusement in all the same big energy, because if I wasn't such a lady, I regurgitate your words and spit them right back at you. But I heard most men don't like the taste of their own accountability. My uncle told my mother, not even 48 hours after my aunt had passed away, that People were calling, asking for parts of her that belonged to him for so many years. They wanted to know about the condition of her eyes. And at that moment, I knew people didn't view pain the same or grief. Death wasn't knocking at their doorstep, so they could care less about the blood still drying at ours. My aunt was the closest thing my uncle had to a heartbeat. And even though he survived, he lost his in war. It was burned by the Black Hawks. They aim at the Black bodies. He became this ghost of a man. She put the life back into him. He told me he wasn't affected by her absence because he still prays with her in his dreams. So in his defense, how would you miss someone you always see? My uncle is now this walking reminder of what pain can do to the body, of what wars do to one's body, of a trauma does to the body of a Black man who is still holding the mouth of his inner child shut, afraid to let his agony scream because of the judgment that will follow him home, not even 48 hours after my aunt passed away. They wanted to make her into this experiment, asking for parts of her I loved for years. They wanted to know about the condition of her heart. And at that moment, mine started to slow down. And I listened. As their condolences started to sound more like contradictions, saying how they can save people with her science. Like, I don't know, they lying. Typical America. Profit from us in death, and when we're alive, just be honest. You rush hours for traffic, it's business time. Must be nice for you to return home with your pockets full of cash, and we return with ours filled with ashes, empty lies. Won't lie an empty body in this casket, and my aunt will not be a reminder of what America does to the Black body.
This peerless love is like a magical bouquet where immaculate flowers glisten and blend, an eloquence of poetry where the ambience and decor merge, a spectacle of chandeliers where the eyes and heart feast to become one. Your hazel brown eyes look deep into my gaze as I caress your cheeks. My love whispers, so silent I could hear your breath quicken, and my heart pulseless, beating only through your life-giving energy that sustains its flow. Around you, I need nothing else but a core that sings ballads of your magnificence, a soul chanting I love yous more today than yesterday and ever transcending tomorrows. This is the sparkling moon and shooting stars of my nightly symphonies. Sometimes you become so central to my meaning that you enter my dreams profoundly, days and nights. I open my eyes, arms outstretched to embrace you, still enthralled by your elegant smile. Alas, it is daylight and I blush as I walk, attempting to save face. Whoever said that love is rational? Some days I do crazy things. The meal sits at the table with only a spoon taken, hoping that you'd appear just to feed or console me in my time of challenges. But you're not here, and as spring approaches, I pull the Venetian blinds, tugging desperately the translucent light, the magnolias blooming in the garden. I am an inebriate, my queen, drunk from the anticipation of wine from thy lips. My neck turns scarlet with thy rouge, my spine burns, and the earth massages my feet as I walk, healing my being from the most extreme form of the agony of loving. Just yesterday, I came home with yet another bouquet of flowers waiting for your arrival. I could hear the jasmines whisper to the sweet-scented lavenders in affectionate oneness. The pure white lilies sang of the charm and sacrifice of the rose so sweetly that the cherry blossoms blushed. A flood of sentiments and poignancy set in, though, as a cuckoo flew over, lamenting its loss, the intimacy, affection, and tenderness of its beloved. I listened as the copious tears dropped and my intensity increased, yearning for my peerless love.
I dusted my reflection into clouds of distraction. I prefer the aftermath to the initial reaction. I was too high to fumble my words like I did, floating away like a balloon from a kid. Now friends come like words to tickle my curious before the rhythms dance me furious as if storks of fortune are dropping off sacks stuffed with newborn needles full of black sap, otherwise known as the essence of shame, impure and alone, dark and insane. You surface sometimes when I flounder the most, more like a mirage than a ragged old ghost, breathing wispy, wishing with what sounds like kissing. I need euphorics, wonderment supreme, the way a mind unwinds the dream. If you're a body of work, and I'm a work of a body, then let's meet at the seams of skin and screams and find the keys to the upper eaves before the light show leaves. I know we live in different places. You know the state of shifting faces, the navigation of off-kilter spaces, warping through a history of graces not given to those who deserve it, and pretending to forgive the truth when we heard it. What if you sang me into being back then, and now I only exist when you sing it again? The last two people to speak our language, dead sounds that danced and vanished, instrumental and intersecting, the hopping, helping of blade dissecting, the burning of fury where flesh used to be, a warning shot coming in lessons of three. Your helix heart comes twisting toward me, looking like the beast that bored me. Blood alone, a dropping decision where bags of plasma paid your tuition in a school where puncture was easy to remember, tested the blessed up biblical weather. I write my name in lightning on an old chalkboard sky next to yours, and all the reasons I walked around tied to the ground, even though I knew how to fly.
A trio of young girls sway synchronously to a K-pop song. I scroll. A fluffy white Highland cow wears a flower crown. It tilts with a degree of bovine insouciance. I scroll. A white man with a buzz cut, shirt 2 sizes too small, intones gleefully, your body, my choice. I scroll quickly. A little lamb, swaddled in a child's onesie, joyously stamps his feet. A million separate souls have all hit the heart button. I join them. And then I scroll. A woman, lips stretched painfully over too many cc's of filler, demonstrates how to line your lips to make them fuller, as if we are fooled, or simply foolish. I scroll. A body bag, full of dolls, I think, at first. But no, not dolls. I think those are children, packed into a single body bag. Their skin gray, not from death, but from debris. The video loops endlessly, and I don't know what to do, and I scroll. A lesbian with a wolf cut earnestly confesses legal steps she is taking. She says she fears that her marriage will soon be invalidated, that the vow till death do us part apparently includes the death of democracy. I scroll. An ICE officer falls down on some ice. The laughter at their expense is both vicious and well-deserved. I scroll on. A wannabe Politico stitches a video of a hot take, itself a stitched video of a hot take explaining in their stitch why the second stitch was the wrong stitch. I scroll on. Multiple ICE agents surround a single man. They strike him repeatedly. Shots are fired. He falls to the ground, and a voice in the background breaks as it shouts, "You killed him." And I scroll on. A kitten falls off of a window hammock, shakes it off, walks away like nothing happened. The comment section berates the owner for not more securely fastening the hammock. The comments are now limited. A woman with curly hair asks if it's cultural appropriation to wear a bonnet. The comment section is both vicious and conflicted. I scroll on. Another influencer, another brand. and I scroll. Another influencer, another brand, and I scroll. Another influencer, another brand, and I scroll. I'm so tired. But when I close my eyes, all I can see is dead children and the unraveling of democracy and the violence and the apathy. And so I scroll and I scroll and I hide from reality. Another influencer, another brand.
Fuck you, bitch. I'ma say it with my entire chest until it fucking hurts. Code name sex on the beach. What does that mean? Well, this bitch gonna get laid in dirt. Just to show y'all I don't play, bro. Think Janae I ain't go. It's only gonna get worse. In the way, funny how everything changed. Or you got all that you wanted, nothing was ever the same. Can I change? Shorty was feeding for me, had her pussy throbbing like Kanye's 808. Welcome to heartbreak. Wait, that was mean. No, that was me. In a room full of casualties, under this hoodie and jeans is me. None but a casualty, pacing, mind racing. Should I change my cadence? The poetry scene needed a change, so I came in with a new look. With a new look in between a tummy tuck and a facelift. I got it. You know, like the receipt app? I bought her. If I don't get that reference, I could move on. If I'm so wrong, tell Zordon to beam me up to the mothership. Wait, it's morphin' time. If I retire right now where I'll be immortalized, I will grab a snake, live on Twitch and behead it, and that's the definition of Cobra Kai. You get me? Y'all must be smoking. I play Bobby, you play Whitney. Houston, we got a problem. All black like I'm gothic. I put the ick in toxic is a difference. Shooting shots, you better ask ballistics. I got the devil's prescription, 6 6s. That was different, but I had no blueprint on how to love. By no means was I an emotional architect. I was really good at demolishing shit. Really good at burning bridges left and right like an arsonist. I was giving these chicks a 6-course meal of toxic dick. You can't change it, it's prefixed. Stuffing her oven with my meat lovers, no deep dish pizza, I kill shit. In every arena. Allegedly. No Gilbert Arenas. As a preteen myself, I had a teenage crush on Sabrina. Tonight, nah, I ain't gonna play with y'all. I'll let Clarissa explain it. Oh, wait, that's the same chick. Clarissa, Sabrina, Melissa Joan Hart. You drive me crazy, and I just can't speak. I'm so excited. I'm into the whoa, crazy. How crazy are you? 2000 and 2006, Brittany. Think about it. You'll get it later. I'm the bomb, or mine is the detonator. Punchlines hit harder than what Solange did to Jay-Z in the elevator. If you don't get that now, you'll get it later.
This poem is free, although you may have paid to hear me read it. This poem is sovereign. It has no birth certificate. It doesn't give a damn that it has no form. This poem wasn't written for you. It wrote itself. This poem has no 3-minute rule. It wasn't written for the slam. It doesn't give a damn about the score. This poem doesn't care that it is political and this is an erotic reading. This poem refuses to be porn on paper. This poem doesn't care about your sex life unless you're taking it to bed. This poem has a complicated relationship with its 9 to 5. This poem doesn't care about Jesus. This poem wants to know why you turned your back to your ancestors to follow your oppressor's religion. This poem doesn't care if it pisses you off. It prides itself in controversy. This poem thinks you should turn off that idiot box and read a book. This poem doesn't care about Kate and William, Bill and Hillary, Michelle and Barack, or Ben and fucking Jerry as far as that matters. This poem doesn't care about who you marry. Once the night is tired, it's your damn problem. Deal with it. This poem does not care that it makes use of profanity. This poem thinks there's nothing more profane than poverty and wants to get paid. This poem is horny and wants to get laid. This poem is for adults only and not for your kids. This poem has arthritis and wanted to move to Cali for that medicinal weed. This is not the poem written by Muta Baruka, and it won't go on and on and on and on and on and on in your mind. What happens in this poem stays in this poem. This poem is a bad mother, yo. This poem is free. This poem is free. I got real shit to say. There's no system that can judge it. It's unjudgeable. Unjudgeable may not actually be a word. Most of the judges that slams don't know shit about poetry anyway, and depending on the venue may be drunk. A lot of what I have to say will piss you off. I like to win. I don't give a damn about the score. I don't care about your sex life nor your sexual preference. It's not my business. It's not up for discussion. I've been in this spoken word game too long to give a damn what you think. Poetry is not a popularity contest to me. My tolerance for bullshit is limited. I'm allergic to bad poetry. I'm not a therapist. If I were, I'd send a lot of poets a bill. My poetry has a real purpose. It's not a pickup line. I'm giving you my opinion, but opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. This poem doesn't require a score. It's unscorable. That may not be a word either, but this poem isn't competing for a prize.
So I've been rubbing antiques down on Broadway, where the Village meets the Lower East Side. No luck yet. Junkies and winos watch to see if my ritual produces any better visions than their chemically induced hallucinations. I want to tell them that indulgence in the spirits of gin, wine, and white powders invoke false gods that use them as temporary altars till the poison cut short their time and the demons move on to the next host. But a labor tells me I don't speak their language. He says I must wait in contemplative silence until their own souls arrive at the crossroads where they choose wisdom over wine, divinity over delusion, life over death. I go up to Harlem offering cracked and chipped plates of food to the collective ancestors of our freedom, begging them to speak to our walking wounded, the men, women, and children who suffer from over 40 generations of post-traumatic slave syndrome disorder, each generation a different mutation, resulting in the same terminal disease. I ask Obatala for the medicine to cure it. He says that patience is the mother and father of good character. So I go up to the Bronx where they're singing freedom songs.
Until the killing of black men, black mothers' sons, is as important as the killing of white men, white mothers' sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes.
I see Ogun, our Orisha Jertson, standing underneath the elevated train tracks on Southern Boulevard. I run, greet him in tradition, Dobale, Mofoi Bale. I ask him to lead our people in the battle for justice. He quotes his own scripture, Ogunda Meji, and says, don't hurry back from anything that requires patience. He continues that the truth, no matter how small and weak it looks in the beginning, always prevails in the end. Always. Remember Medgar Evers? Remember Emmett Till? He continues in the style of his own Izala poetry and tells me that truth and justice are like Siamese twins that can never be separated. He tells me if you want justice, you must seek the truth, speak the truth, and walk in truth. Only then will your battles and victories be won. I pour libation in Brooklyn, in Weeksville, where care of each other, love of each other are the community cornerstones. I beg Oshun to return those gifts to us. She too tells me to wait. She says that love and fear cannot sleep in the same house, much less the same bed. But the time of courage is coming. Her waterfall of wisdom whispers into my ear. And Oshun says, love, love again. Then love more. Love is our legacy. Feed everyone's soul with love so it can grow in its power. So I sit in contemplative silence, cultivate good character, walk in truth, work love, and wait, because divine guidance is far too precious to waste. Ashe.
Covet the earth and love her with all your bodai nucleus. Hypotenuse, strange fruit, sacks re-dangling from flutist lips. Buddha's mothership connection, resilient like Ethiopians. Utopian nectar sipper in the icebox lounging, shot off the nose of Napoleon. On the infant stage, capitalist fulcrum, fucked from birth on the spectrum draconian. Dandelion in your hair while the void's vacuum cleaner peruses your fallopian. Pry every rodent out my ribcage with homemade pliers. Rekindle 1978 engineering Stone Age fires. Ghost cage wired. Soulmates hired out of Miles Bennett Dyson's Antichrist cookbook. Got some nook from the burning Kush bush. Blazing saddle back with good looks. On the rook hook, burning vocals and global brains with Tina Turner's voice. At the zombie burger joint, eating brain sandwiches for slow learner points. Kirby Puckett, bucket list butt cheeks, King Tut uplinks to electronic pyramids. Stacks that King Lear reneged, face card Fort Knox bagging groove theory grids. Myriads of Marrakesh, bizarre funk, guitar sunk into abyss while rock songs float. Moment Earth's water broke. Tidal waves rock James Bond's boat. Broad strokes of a sword swing cut eyebrows off with specific swiftness. Deliverance of rigid bigots. Town business. Wall Street stocks. Griot hop. Resplendent Christmas. Corinthian mystics. Surreptitious biscuits. Walked in the club the usual suspect. Spotlight Kaja Soze. Spraying Kilroy was here, underscoring funeral subtext. Crucible Sunquest. Solar Nova Star Leaves Lambent Dung Droppings. E Pluribus Nucleus Slim Watching. Big Brother knows and the nose grows blood clotting. Swollen member throbs like lightning rods, mighty gods crumb scrambling. My tongue is a mansion, Martian anthem, fatal attraction, thumbprint, rhyme gun battling, drum rattling, Naya Bingies and Candombe, sessions with the seventh Marley brother, sun showering, gun towering as icon over at water tank, kids drink fountains of vampire blood devouring. Diplomats double dutch and twerk on each other's laps for oligarchy sausage parties, stomping out Jabberwockies, Chopsaki origami, snitching to Matahari, words of Anunnaki, Liberace, cyclotronic army, dead ringers with Dr. Caligari, Maserati wheels grinding while I sweat Ferdinand snake venom, taste my exhaustion, I drop the mic like Donnie Darko's plane engine, boom slang heaven, boa constrictors on a plane accompanied by Samuel L. Jackson cussing, Caucasian anthems rusting out, metal melanin replacement, action-packed bungee jumping, monkeys funking with gorillas, planet flunking astronaut assignment, wisdom body, lullaby, sovereign black goddess blotting out whiteness, vitiligo, albino thickness, shifty lyrics, garden empire with mantis shrimp, panopticons, symbio, psycho, taxiplasm, pimping patient audits of Dr. Octagon, ambiance of holograms, logging off channel Holocaust and hop on Basquiat.
You, my light of paradise. I shall look at you the way I look at moonlight, pure, incandescent, and unblemished. My soul shall paint your smile the way Da Vinci painted Mona, mysterious, intimate, and unsullied, tracing the grandeur of your beauty to the end of timeless time. You'll be my rainbow, hovering on the crests of sunsets and horizons, unfurling to the light like radiant sunflowers. Your hues a mesmerizing tapestry, adorning my core with your breathtaking rays. Together, we'll listen as the larks sing, carry the olive branch of the dove in flight inside our golden temple. Like magnolias, I shall always blossom in your firmament of light, like seasonal spring, paying homage to the unspoken glory of creation. Until tomorrow, I shall leave the shutters closed so that the decor and ambience of your wondrous silhouette will remain imprinted deep down in the tabernacle of my soul forever. I had searched endlessly for you, for eons without success. Yet you came suddenly, me, unaware, until you slipped into my being like the moon does at twilight when I am stargazing. I so cherish those I love yous in silence, for they make my breath quickens, my pulse beat that much faster, my inner sanctum fluttering like mariposas, like butterflies. Oh, love, I pray that I will never take you lightly. I see your cute smile hidden in the folds of moonlight and dancing in shooting stars. You blush in the aroma of jasmines, hide in the scented wafts of petunias, lavenders, roses, and camellias. Your love for me is timeless, and in my silent moments, when my inner storms have been abated, I can feel your soft cheeks resonating an enthralling melody in the sacred longing of my heart. I am in awe at the feet of your stunning beauty, me, being wooed into serenity by the songs you sing so sweetly that I become entranced by your captivating eloquence, the stir of your unspoken cadences, mesmerizing the magnificence of my soul. The butterfly within me becomes like the wings of a phoenix, for amidst its immaculate deftness, there's vibrancy and hope, accompanied by a freedom that soars to immeasurable delights. I know that desire can play endless tricks with the emotions, but you, my sweetest Shyama, dazzles within and without. Again, you're like a most nourishing tea, revealing your essence only when I exert myself in brewing meticulously. I sit at your table, my heart overflowing with the delectable nature of thy taste. The full moon is near, but even as my spirit prepares for the magnificence of its glory, my soul whispers sweet mutterings to you, my sweetheart, lover of unspoken beauty. This creation is full of heroic emotions, but you and you alone are the light of my destiny. I would like to say you're bewildering, ineffable, that I miss you, yet. Just as I sometimes stare at stars, at constellations in silent wonder, so too, whenever I gaze at you, I become mute and inebriated, drunk with the wine of celestial bliss, such as can only be experienced by a bridegroom, distraught from the agony of longing for your supernal sweetness.
Oh, little thumper, how you doing down there? Is it as dark as it seems in that cavern you live in? That beating pulse you send out like a beacon, an electrical whirlwind of ones and twos and backbeats and tribal drums, that light force hum. No. Oh, tiny church where saviors come to hide. Oh, lighthouse burning out every time it hits low tide. Unhinged, unflanged, built from the plans of double helixed hands. I've been wondering how you know when to go fast, when to go slow, how to rest with the demons down below, and when to begin again. And then how to stay soft and not mean, how to flutter so slightly you can barely be heard, or pound through the chest with a sound loudly absurd. Oh, thumper, oh, little ticking time bomb, oh, scarlet squished squeeze box flaming with need. Are you angry every time I ignore you, caught up in data and danger? Are you homesick for a season without a flavor? I'm in love with your steady and all of your chorus, pouring out everything, more ashes than dust, more glassy-eyed wonder, more heartbreak, more lust. The opening and closing, the valves and trapdoors, the nightmare and neurons and echoes of fours. I'm swimming around you. I'm talking in tongues. I'm words without meanings in mouths without tongues. I'm taking up space in a room made for lungs, holding you gently when you and in the corollary of the coronary, I crown myself a queen. You teach me the motto of the tempo and the silence in between. O little thumper, how long have we got in this mixed up parable where every last thought hangs in the air like light bulbs on strings, and you just keep beating the air till it sings?
I used to chain smoke on the back porch of my college rental. Cry, acid rain tears blacken my lungs to match my moods, morose to my very marrow, achingly lonely, starting to realize that I wasn't growing out of the teenage angst that had plagued me, realizing that perhaps sad is just who I am. This morning, I sat in the sunshine, in a ratty old robe, drinking coffee out of a mug bearing the handprints of my nieces. They made it for me. It says, "We love you, Auntie Kelly." I stretch out my legs and notice two old scars, silvery slivers slithering across my skin, gleaming pearlescent in the sunshine, permanent reminders of a pain that has passed but still feels familiar. Mementos mori, I used to think of them as, this collection of puckered stripes. Remember, you must die. I had gotten the idea from a book. At an incredibly precocious age, too young for the complexity of adages about mortality. But I got all my worst ideas from books, like most sad 10-year-olds. And I misunderstood, or maybe I understood too well. I had been too scared to actually do it, this forbidden act, this mutilation, but I carried the idea of it in my back pocket, the idea of it and an X-Acto knife, like a life preserver. In case of overwhelming need to die, pull string, slice here. I don't actually remember the first cut. You'd think that I would, but even in my memories, it's made blurry from all the tears that I cried in those years. But one day it happened. The desperation I had always felt grew faster than my adolescent body, and my skin could no longer stretch to contain it, and the volcano of rage and self-hatred needed a vent, and I didn't have one, but I had an X-Acto knife, and the knowledge that physical pain would start a chain reaction in my brain, and so I did what I had learned to do, and I took care of it myself, in the clumsy and myopic way of a teenager who knows just enough about the world to be a liability. Now I sit in glittering winter sunshine, the same old sadness still sitting on my shoulders, gazing at the pain I permanently painted onto my skin. But I no longer think of these scars as memento mori. Maybe because I better understand it now. Because they remind me not so much that we all must die, but that before that, we get to live. They remind me of stretch marks, souvenirs of a person I once was but have outgrown. They are signifiers of becoming. Sometimes life is about flying, sometimes falling. But sometimes it's about holding on, both hands on the oh shit bar, double checking your seatbelt and willing yourself to just keep going no matter how bumpy the ride. So I look at my scars and I remember the girl who raised them because no one was raising her. And I love her as hard as I can because today in the sunshine, I am grateful and I remember.
I'm not soft spoken about love. Anything gentle deserves protection, and anything sacred should never be handled casually. So when I say agape, don't mistake it for scripture flirting. It's capable of talking on its own. This is me just telling the universe I'm built to hold more than surface level affection. Black love isn't candles posing for cameras. It's two people choosing each other while the world cashes checks off division. Agape doesn't flutter, it fortifies. It's a love able to disarm itself and still feel safe standing next to one another. A love knowing the difference between passion and possession, between loyalty and disappearing. I'm done shrinking to so someone else can feel tall. Wow. Blurring access with intimacy, giving credibility to people who never earned my trust. Agape doesn't deplete you, it teaches endurance without erosion, shows how to stay without stealing air from lungs, how to pour into growth without standing in sunlight. This is Black love that remembered chains, remembered laws criminalizing unity, remembered children Christ, names erased, bodies turned into warning and ash. So don't insult me by calling love fragile. Love has outlived every system designed to break it. Agape doesn't flinch when I arrive complete. It doesn't try to fix me for access. It understands I'm not a project. I am partnership for opportunity. I'm not asking for you to heal me. I'm asking for you to hold me while I continue doing the work myself. Miss the difference, and this conversation is just not for you. Agape listens without pretending, defense corrects without control, recognizes my shine, never reaching for a dimmer switch. Black love isn't an aesthetic, it's an alignment under pressure. It chooses growth when comfort feels easier, truth with integrity, leaving you in isolation, consistency when chaos pretends to be chemistry. I'm not manifesting struggle. I'm not romanticizing survival in scars or interested in pain disguised as death. Agape grows because both people show up. Not only one left bleeding out to keep the balance. It stands rooted because it was planted intentionally, not thrown together out of loneliness. And when it finds me, it won't feel dramatic, only familiar. Like my spirit realizes it no longer has to brace for impact. We were never taught to love like this because love like this is liberating. So if love makes you uncomfortable, if my love makes you uncomfortable, then pay attention because agape isn't something I stumbled into. It rises to meet me eye to eye. And that's how I want to love. And that's unapologetically Black.
I've been taking L sincerely for the longest time. I don't know whether it's ego or pride. I'm afraid of what's in store on the other side of this forbidden door. When the old and new way meet, those worlds collide every time. Every day of my life, I catch myself in real time. Change and growth isn't linear. There's lows and highs. Those decisions at times are silly. Like you don't know what was on the lesson plan or syllabus. It's terrifying, but it's a price you pay. No change is given. Retail price or clearance. We are cleaning out any old habits. Are you listening to the fear in my voice? Can you hear it? Trying on this new way of life, can you feel it? The fabric of how I fit in this new outfit? Try it on. It's a lesson you will learn whether you're right or wrong. This destructive way of doing business is going out of business. That winner inside needs to come out. Mindset needs to change. Fix your compass, although sometimes we are lost. Let's find the path and go a certain direction. No worries. Everyone struggles. But do not stop learning, even when you hit the finish line. Break those cycles of negative self-talk. Rewire your mind, pray on it. Get closer to God, show gratitude to yourself and those in your life. Do not take those moments for granted. Life is short and we don't have much time.
Facebook rant. Now I lay me down to sleep to keep listening to my phone beep, healing angelic frequencies. Did I single-handedly call them back to me? Us, a failed human experiment. When will we reach nirvana? Every night I weep, too disturbed to sleep. I pop the chocolate-covered cherry truffle to distract me from the creeps, the pedos, the reality, the current state of our monstrosity, democracy. The monsters need to move to another galaxy. Candyland, scientific studies say, Linder makes truffles that help the weight come off while you eat whatever you want. Truth or fairy tale? The overprocessing in America strips all nutrients from our food and keeps us all sick while we watch the world go to shit on our little TVs. I can't afford to die yet. Shove handfuls of life-saving orbs in my greedy mouth. Buy into the lie. Want to live forever. Do not count how many. It's embarrassing, like the spaceship, whether or not you believe showing half its ass in Greenland. They live underground, not in heavens like the ancients said. Time machine, take me back to the good old days when I didn't know better. Aliens controlling the weather. Why would they show themselves now? Are they answering the cryptic messages from the Mothership 31 Atlas in Earth's orbit? Go ahead and blast us into stardust already. But no, it's just a comet that changes direction and sends signals. Is there anybody out there? Fact check on Snopes, war on the other side of the horizon line, and ghost petting a deer. Everybody is here, from every timeline, converging on Washington. Could not tell a lie. That was Eve. Flat Earthers unite. 2 tickets to paradise, just beyond the Pale Veil ice wall. Easter Island, Washington Monument, pyramids draw a line of interference. Don't dare cross the boundary or you will find the answers to every conspiracy theory. Locate where all the bodies are buried, under golf courses and national parks, lakes in bellies. Cannibalism are children. Rapist, stinky old white men in poopy diapers run sane humans out of this place. ICE patrol packed, no gun control, pulled trigger, shot good in the place of evil. Tear gas protester, no law or order to protect death or arrest. We like zombies stoned the way they wanted. Goose stepped on next now that we can't disappear. Diabolical history again. Fake news, fake ideology, deep fake. We can never make it great again because it never was.
When they sat him in the electric chair, his body did not fit. The cap fell to the side like a crown on a small prince's head, but the throne was not meant for kings. A throne of lies, feet barely able to touch the ground. They placed his body on a Bible as if it were an oath, the way they always use God to make anything fit. Somehow, they found a way to transfer the shock through his body. To take away the life of a black boy cannot find out how to bring a child back after the truth has been revealed. Say maybe he shouldn't have confessed, signed on the dotted line with a lynch mob at the door. Sat in a courthouse with a jury that resembled his captors instead of his peers. Convinced himself he was bigger than this body, big enough for this moment. As his tears raced his blood to the floor, creating rivers of forget, I wonder, did they ever question their own actions? Or were they too focused on electrifying their hatred? A fireworks display, their eyes light up, but the darkness is here to stay. I wanna be a billionaire so fucking bad. But I ain't got $1 billion. I got a couple thousand poems. The more I learn about billionaires, I'm better off at home. They've been preying on the children, feasting on their skin. It's like a social club for evil, and we're dying to get in. We all hear the stories, scroll past them on our phones, convince ourselves we'd be different if we could get alone. Like if the devil really approached us, we wouldn't sell our souls, but we want to be on the cover of Forbes magazine, standing next to Oprah and Weinstein. First you lose your conscience, then you get the money, but people think the come up was smart, and we all just a bunch of dummies. How you chase your dreams just to end up in a nightmare. You could have chose to save the world. The answer was right there. Instead, they terrorize us, pit us against each other, so we plot on our downfall instead of building up our brothers. I'm starting to realize why good people end up dying broke. I've been side-eyeing my idols. I don't know how far this goes. So if my pocket symbolized the truth in what I spoke, I'll never have $1 billion. I'll just write 1 billion poems.
I am a passenger on this ride. You picked me up out of nowhere, and I assume we're in for a trip. I want to fly into space where I can simply float on endlessly and not being fatigued at all as I drift through the planets. The stunning sights of planet Earth from above, I've only seen them in photographs, just like every vacation spot I see on TV. I want to witness the extraordinary and the amazing. Fuck you, gravity, and embrace me as I will embrace you, universe. Show me your darkest secrets. Show me what happens on the dark side of the moon. Take me adrift like an endlessly falling leaf through the solar system. Let me see the craters and cracks of not just the moon, but of Mars as well. The magic of it all will take me to Jupiter. Let me take a ride inside that great red storm. I As much as I want to experience the beauties of the universe, I want to survive the terrors. That way, I can constantly be reminded that life is too short and beautiful. After that, may the hellish winds blast me off towards the rings of Saturn. Stevie Wonder lyrics ring happily in my head as I am riding in a circular magic carpet ride around this cold gas giant. Carry me off towards Uranus and Neptune and allow me to bathe in their gas atmosphere and see what truly occurs on those planets. Maybe there are creatures who can somehow communicate with me and share understanding and peace among each other. How epic would that be? Being the human link to being some other planets that I would love to be a part of their civilizations and see what it's like to live on another planet. Whatever happens after that, I wouldn't care. I can die happily as I float on, or you can amaze me more by taking me through the unknown. Expose me to the other solar systems, constellations, and galaxies. Prove to me that there can be parallel universes. Let's spend space and time together. Oh, Crab Rangoon! You fill me up with fulfillment when you're filling face plants onto a field of my taste buds. Every time I have you inside my oral cavern, I cannot help but wants to crush you with my stalagmite teeth and swallow you into my abyss while I enjoy feeling you disintegrate slowly under my pressure as you slide all the way down to the pit of my being. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you perfectly highly addictive yet perfectly legal drug. And yes, I said drug. Have you ever eaten one and not feel dopamine and serotonin flood through every mini vessel of your being with the utmost sense of culinary nirvana? Oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the Asian equivalents to Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. In life, there should be only two universal defining periods: life before and after accepting Crab Rangoon as your Lord, Savior, and demigod. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you miracle of life. If you were made in your original pure form, the pharmaceutical industry would cease to exist because you cure all. I'll never forget that one time I had that strange stomach ache, and you, with your crunchy exterior and your cheesy, creamy, crabby holiness. Oh, Crab Rangoon, you are the body of Christ. Your healing powers influenced me to start an underground street fighting club called Crab Rangoon Club. And the first rule of Crab Rangoon Club is we definitely talk about Crab Rangoon Club. Oh, Crab Rangoon, the joy and despair of all, how they rewrote the history books. You, Crab Rangoon, every 80s power ballad and 70s adult film was inspired by you in some weird way by your rich sexual white chocolates. Oh, Crab Rangoon, I am a goon for you. Always have and always will.
Lately, life has done nothing but teach me how real death is. Always delivered at my doorstep when I never asked to address it. It got my anxiety knocking on heaven's doors. In the last few months, I tried to find refuge in my closet. I can't find any room. The skeletons waiting for forgiveness. My mother told me if I go outside, maybe the darkness will run away when my body finds the light. I can't find the motivation to move. It seems safer inside. And from my window, all I see is the world burning, the walking dead. Bodies all bruised with egos even makes it hard to recognize kin, but we're here now. And my God save us. All I have strength to do these days is to throw my hands to swing or pray. My ribs cage the screams that I don't worry about containing, like the war in Gaza, turning generations into genocides. That pain is something the government isn't concerned about containing, raping us of our innocence, like the women in the Congo. Prison bars couldn't even keep them safe. 167 women violated in the city of Ngoma, making them believe this was their fate, got bodies stacked up like Jenga pieces, waiting for the fall of these nations, and my God saved them if everything will be ash by the end of this poem. Tell me what I'm living for. To be a martyr or a massacre, to be televised but not remembered. I'm someone's daughter if you haven't heard. And my mother once told me the story about the angels that fell down from above us, lowered the playing field on earth, declared war on anything that looked like paradise in our eyes, and the pages started to burn. And the eulogies had to get written instead of history. And I know I should go outside to find the names they won't televise, the ones the flames turned into memories. But my skeletons keep pulling me back. They know it's not safe either. So for now, all I can do is ask our God to save us. I had a friend once ask me, why did some of my scars resemble my smile? And to be honest, y'all, I never noticed. I was always so focused on stopping my bleeding. My old lover taught me how to take each drop, how to paint these lips to stick to each corner of my face. He preferred me that way. That's why I'm so serious. Use my smile to hide away his insecurities from his friends and his family, he told me. I remind him of a place in his life where he once felt safe, had the nerve to call me his church, where his love was all types of corrupt, his temper, where we figured out how to turn these tables before we had to flip them. This man would lay hands on me as he prayed on me, saying I was ungrateful to not feel safe with how he prayed for me, and I never understood how I had time to think of that word safe when I was always so busy entertaining his demons, and every time I tried to leave, Stockholm Syndrome found time to pay me a visit. This love went from blessing to burden. Paradise now spelled out like persecution. God-fearing woman I am. Told not to allow others to put fear in my fragile heart, the same heart that never deserved to be touched by his hands. But y'all, this man's grip was something else. Led me to the path of destruction. I swear I rather depression because for once I know I deserve to be held down by something else. This man would love me into the ground, plotting on my existence, dropping all of his dirt on top of my lungs. So I had to ask my friend, did she know? One trauma response to abuse is trouble breathing. All that pressure on top of your chest, trouble finding your own voice, trouble speaking. So no, I haven't noticed. I was too busy listening to my inner child screaming for me to get up out of a grave too premature for my body, and now I don't notice because my tears no longer taste like fear. They taste like freedom. I haven't been the same since ovarian cancer decided to rob my grandmother of her heartbeat. Death came and strangled the same vocal cords she once used to sing my father's praise, turned her gardens into war zones. Her body became her own personal Armageddon. This war between her body and her mind, her spirit and her survival. And even though she was strong enough to move mountains for me and my siblings, she wasn't strong enough to win that battle. And that denial had me so lost, I started praying to the stars for clarity. I started whispering to the angels to tell me which ways to go because having conversations with God ain't never been easy for me. Walking by faith and not by sight has never been easy for me, so most nights I heard my heart screaming at God to let me lay in that casket with her. Depression was for breakfast. I was sipping on the memories by noon, and I've been this hollow thing since the age of 19. Because when they lowered her body, my soul went too, you see. I wondered, did that make me selfish to start to ignore comfort from God because I didn't want to forget her points of views? This irony that follows me when people push prayers and scriptures like morphine, thinking that's going to help you. And she was an angel in human form, just for the devil to get violent with her. But that was a while ago. I stopped having conversations with my darkness. And so when depression decided to rob my body of its heartbeat, I haven't smiled the same since. I didn't know if I was supposed to call it a homicide or attempted suicide. I just knew pain became my favorite drug of choice, and I chose to relapse every time depression became my cancer. It slowly started to eat away at my brain cells. I couldn't even comprehend how to push any more screams out, inhaling this hell on earth back in. And I tried. I tried to resurrect her in my poetry, but I couldn't get my pen to produce enough impulse to get her heart to start moving again in that reality. Too hard to digest, so I just stomach it. These metaphors and similes don't do shit for my body when it's in distress, but she changed my views on death because I know it can't be forever with how she lives through me. And now I fight my battles. I pray to the stars to be patient. I whisper to these angels to take this massacre death left inside of me and give it some beauty. I started having more conversations with God because my friends said I need to start working on my healing. But even as a poet, I couldn't find enough words to make death sound pretty.